Hello, it's Pete here again, and we are talking about rotating stencils, specifically this one, which is Candy Kitsch. Now, the thing about rotating stencils is they work with our stencil and stamp tool, and there are 4 different layers, but only one stencil. So let's see what we're talking about. So when we look at this, you can see you've got the 4 different layers of color. Now, this is your stencil. That's it, just a single stencil. That is going to give you that pattern, but it's a rotating stencil, which means that it rotates 4 times. You use 4 different colors. Now, you could use 2 colors. You could have the same color opposite each other. You could use just a single color and flood it with this pattern. That's entirely up to you. You can combine stencils as well. Remember, there are 4 in the collection. But what we're going to do, we are going to show you, I'm using 4 colors today, and those colors are Kitsch Flamingo, Picked Raspberry, Ripe Persimmon, and Wild Honey. So we're going for a really sort of funky, fresh looking project today. Or actually projects, because we're going to make a few things with this. Now let's make sure I've got my Sizzix logo at the top. That's where I'm going to start. It doesn't matter that much. You could start at any point, but it always helps me. If I know that that's at 12 o'clock, I can see when I'm turning it to ensure that I'm in the right position. So let's get my cardstock down. And it doesn't matter, you know, we're using the sticky grid sheet on the stencil and stamp tool, but it doesn't matter if it's wonky because this is going to get trimmed down to size afterwards anyway. Now, what's going to happen when I start inking, we're going to speed this up. So if you want to see how we create this, then you can watch the overview video where I take it in real time. But from the minute I start inking, well, we're going to go a bit crazy to save you and I a little bit of time. So cue the music. And there you go. That was quick, wasn't it? Actually, it is quite quick to do anyway. Let's take that away. Now, if you wanted to go directly onto a project, you could do that. But what I tend to do is create the background and then use it thereafter by trimming it to size and adding it to the project. So the wild honey it's a lot of yellow in that, orange. The ripe persimmon, that's more towards the red side of the spectrum. These two are pretty similar, but obviously that is deeper. The picked raspberry is a deeper version of the Kitsch Flamingo. So a lovely, lovely combination there. Real sort of candy colors. Let's get my cutting mat. And we'll trim this to size, and we'll use it for a few different projects. But isn't that amazing when you think you just got one simple, basic stencil there? To see the other stencils, don't forget to go and watch the overview, which is already somewhere on YouTube. In fact, it may be next to this very video, who knows? So, I've got my cutting mat. There's my project. And I'll take my steel ruler, because what I want to do is, first of all, now let's think. Okay, I think I'm definitely going to want a double one. Yeah, okay. So let's cut, first of all, I want 1, 2, 3 rows. So I'm following the lines. It's kind of done for you because they're all in line. I love the way that the stencil works to give you this. And then the next one again. we'll make another row. Now, let's carry on around. So I always find as well, when you're working with card, particularly heavier card, and using a blade of some description, it pays to go lightly first time around. So don't go too heavy. Don't try and cut this in one go. The first one gives you a channel, and then after that, you can just go through it really, really smoothly. There we are. Now that's my first two. That's my first two bits. Now this one, actually, no, you know what? I'm going to take and make an executive decision. I'm going to cut one of these rows off. So it's quite handy actually. Happy accident, should we call it? Because you can see 1, 2, 3. You can see the difference there. This one, I'm going to use the blocks. So we're going to cut this into tiles. So there you go. I'm not going to cut all the way to the edge. Okay, so this is tile number 1. Number 2. Number 3. And finally number 4. Now it's interesting. It's an interesting experiment to change my mind halfway through. So let's see how this works out, shall we? So those are the 3. Now let's look at what I've got in terms of base cards, because what I'm actually going to do, instead of having 3, I'm going to use 4. Or shall I just, no, you know what? I'm going to place that like that. So this one can live to fight another day, because what I could have done, of course, is added that to the top, like so. But I'm not going to. I'm going to use the 3. So we'll peel this away. There's some double-sided tape which is down ready, and we'll make sure. So it's a lovely way of adding a banner or a background. Now this could be horizontal, it could be vertical. Doesn't really matter. And there we are. There's our first one. Then the second one, I'm going to take these and we're going to use some 3D foam pads. Now, normally I'd use 4, but today, because, well, we want to speed the process up, and I just want to give you the idea of where I'm going, I'm just going to use 2 on each one. That will give me an anchor point. There we are, and there's all those little bits. Now, this is going to go on this card. The font, incidentally, a lot of people ask about the different fonts. These were printed. They weren't actually stamps. So I printed these using my PC, and the font, if memory serves, I think it's called Thelerin. That's Thelerin with a TH. Thelerin. It's a free downloadable, so you can find it. You can find it online. But yeah, it's quite cool. I do like it. It gives me that sort of retro vibe that matches the stencil itself. So there's number 2. So there we are. We've used them as tiles this time. That's probably a bit wonky donkey. We can change that, not a problem. And then finally, now I've used a strip of sticky pad there, sticky foam pad. So this time I'm going to get a little dimension, and we'll make sure that it's equidistant from top and bottom, parallel to the edge. And there we are. So there's our other strip. How about that? 3 super simple makes, 1 beautiful stencil. Oodles of fun. There's a lot more. I mean, you know, if you change up the colorways, same thing, but very different. you know, choose the colors for the occasion, but just a really cool vibe. Well, thanks very much for joining me. I'm sure you enjoyed that as much as I did. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's a lot of fun. There's so many ways of using these stencils. We're just scratching the surface. So remember to check out the 4 that are in the range, and keep watching YouTube and Instagram and all the usual social media platforms to get more information about these fantastic products. And I'll see you again soon.